Many thanks for choosing us. They are hunted at home and wanted at work. And one of the many fallouts of the rise in cost of fuel and the current economic crunch in the country, truck drivers in Accra are now slipping out of home at dawn. They're doing this to avoid paying housekeeping money. Manuel Cranting speaks to some of them for our latest edition of the Joy Living Standard series.
This is some new problem. Say this is no form and never in a form. Because this is a form, I mean, for carrying you be a better 1,000 and then 2,000.
Those say himself July, I Kitaunsa. But this July, where the Kitaunsa, anyway, they are Chichaunsa.
It will be sheer load, no one to me more than 1,400. Let's say one Corporal.
Yeah, break up.
Grumbles and lamentations. It's Monday morning, but in a sharp contrast to what it used to be, the Awoshi Bayard Sand and Stone Station does not look busy. The loading boys stand idle and the truck drivers play drafts to while away time. This has been the scene here for months now.
The works are not coming. The boys are there. We have over 300 people to 400 who were, apart from the tipper drivers, we have sand and stone sellers, and we have the loaders, the boys who are loading to get something for their family. The money that they have been getting is not sufficient. So if they get it today, hand to mouth.
In just 6 months, the price of an essential input for the truck business, diesel, has almost doubled, selling now at 11 cedis 30 pesos, up from 6 cedis 70 pesos in January 2022. This has made it near impossible for the drivers to meet their targets.
For now,
the recent 30 pesos for reduction is just a scratch on the surface. The car owners will just take their cars from us. My truck has been taken. We can work the whole month only to run into debt.
What is 30 pesos? 4 CD 70 pesos no na wo de nyina aso ai cars ni de omo yiji pa bebre ya we ni car wa mi ankasa kura me kase kura me ka ya je me ka ses na ma
so ba ya za so bosumu ka ko wo ni twa ka bosumu ni beso no o de ka nti wo kra nko prese that time chop me you market here ko de ka because they had na ya ka wona no ka no de boarding.
For hours, these truck drivers stand around here waiting for patrons who really never come, or when they do, cannot even afford the cost of the materials.
Yes. If only I know that you don't have a car and you are working, I can give you some spare to go and come. Not that I will go and work, then I should try and give you something. Okay. I'll give you the spare.
After 36 years of driving his truck, Seth Abose now sneaks out of his home at dawn. He does this to avoid confrontations with his wife and children over housekeeping money.
My kids are always pursuing me for money, so I wake up very early to avoid meeting them. Even this morning, they confronted me. I managed to settle 2 out of the 3.
But Seth is not alone. Many more of his colleagues actually live this reality.
I also wake up at 2 a.m. to come to work. I send the money when I get it later in the day.
Yeah, so I'm begging me.
While they struggle with their families and suits at home, the drivers have their truck owners to answer to. Many of the truck owners are taking back their vehicles, gradually pushing the drivers out of job.
Scanning in 1 week says, last week, no, and I do my me and I came. Last week, no, now, I came.
This is my sales for 1 week, which was owed me from last week. My boss took his truck because I couldn't pay promptly. I'm going to pay now. I hope he returns the truck to me.
So now, while the rising fuel cost compounds the already slow-paced activities at the station, these truck drivers can only hope that government intervenes to save their jobs. Manuel Cranting, JoyNews, Accra.
The Ghana Police Service is unhappy about the latest Afrobarometer report that rated it the most corrupt institution in the country. According to the service, all personnel have been professionally trained and are expected to discharge their duties without inducement. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Police Service in charge of private services organizations, DCOP Kojoin Chitebi, tells JoyNews the public can be partly blamed for the acts of corruption recorded. He explained why in this interview.
The members of the public too must be blamed for the type of police, the accusation that they are making. They are also equally guilty because if you don't give the police money, he cannot take it from your pocket. If you commit an offense and the police want to charge you for court, you have to allow yourself to go through the due process. Because at times, even when you go to court, the offense may not attract a serious fine. But when you tempt the police with money, when you don't want to go to court, then you are giving the police chance, an unscrupulous policeman, chance to demand any amount of money because you are not willing to allow yourself to go to court. You see, so at times I thank the public too, and there's a need for education. In fact, we've been talking to them, we've been training them, and from time to time, those who are offenders, that is a policeman, if you are found to have collected money or to have extorted money or to have done something unlawfully, we normally punish them. Some of them are dismissed. Some of them, depending on the nature of the offense, they are even sent to court after dismissal. And so unless it doesn't come to the notice of the police authorities, as far as it comes to the notice of the police authorities, the right punishment is meted out to the erring policeman. So when something happens and you are not happy, you have to report to the policeman. But if you don't, it doesn't get to the authority of the police, the police authorities, that is the attitude or the conduct or misconduct of the policeman concerned, it becomes difficult for the senior officers to take action.
Well, my colleague Kofi Asante has been studying a report that was released shortly by the police. Kofi AJ, you've been studying the report that was issued by the police indicating that there's been bias in the Afrobarometer report that tagged the police as the most corrupt institution. Run us through the statement.
Right, so certainly, Aisha, the police raised 14 concerns. And then the first one they spoke about is the use of selective ranking, actually. So selective ranking simply means that you either intentionally or unintentionally left out some of the public institutions in your ranking. So it means, just like the police service said, if you look at the ranking, there are institutions like the Ghana Fire Service who were actually eliminated in the ranking. The Ghana Statistical Service itself and then STRAJ were also eliminated in the ranking as well. And they also raised concerns that, the police service in some instances had to do what we call disaggregation in terms of the ranking. So if you look at the Ghana Health Service, for instance, doctors and nurses were grouped into one category, and then we have other health workers. The ranking also did the same for other other institutions. But when it comes to the police service, they were all lumped into, police officers or Ghana Police Service. And probably their concern is that if you lump all of us into one sum, it means that when you are assessing us, it gives us that, a big weight, and they'll probably put us on top of the list when you are doing the ranking. So certainly, Aisha, they raised 14 concerns, major ones being the fact that, there were selective ranking being used in the ranking process, and the fact that certain public institutions were left out in the ranking.
Which public institutions are we talking about? I know STRAJ is one of them.
STRAJ is one of them, Ghana Statistical Service itself, and then we also have, the Ports and Harbours Authority, and then the Ghana National Fire Service. And they are a host of them, actually. Okay.
So the police is explaining that the report has not been fair by describing the police service as the most corrupt. Now, you have seen the Afrobarometer report itself. You've studied it as well. How justified is the police in making these remarks?
All right, so I'm looking at the research or the survey done by the Ghana Statistical Service, actually. Which puts the police service as number one in terms of, people who take bribes or are being corrupt, actually. And then they did the survey in twofold. So we have what we call the prevalence rates, okay? So if you look at prevalence rates, for instance, they look at doctors and nurses and midwives being number one. It means that you were asked a very simple question. In the past 12 months, which of these public officers have you had contact with? And people said doctors and nurses were number one. Teachers and lecturers were also number one. We have public, utility service workers, and then also police service were also included. Now, if you look at the prevalence, doctors were number one. But when it comes to the main ranking in terms of bribe takers, that's the place where you find police service being on top of the list. So Ghana Police Service being number one, followed by the Ghana Immigration Service. Okay, so it simply means that people have more contact with public institution officers like doctors, nurses, and other places. But when it comes to calculating, the prevalence of bribery and corruption among these public officers, the police service were actually put number one. And if you look at the sample size was somewhere around, 15,000 people were sampled across the length and breadth of the country. And if you look at the research that was done, they used what we call the multi-stage cluster sampling. It means that throughout the 16 regions, people were interviewed and then their response were taken. But the police service raising concerns that, why do you put a segregation for some, disaggregate for some public institutions and then you lump us all up into one institution? Probably could be one major concern, because the Ghana Police Service has divisions. Just like the way the Ghana Health Service also have divisions and different workers, that we have doctors and nurses, probably could be a legitimate concern. And then the fact that there were selective, ranking. But looking at the prevalence, the last one having a prevalence rate of about 0.3%, probably to the Ghana Statistical Service and STRAJ, they have, genuine reasons why we do not have some of these institutions being included. Because if you include them, probably they may have a negligible, figure in terms of the prevalence rate. So if you are ranking, they may not have, a very big rate.
Kofi J is with our research desk. We'll certainly bring you more in our subsequent bulletin. Now, the national executives of the rail. Let's take some comments from Facebook on this as well and move on to other stories. And just on your screens, Daniel Dugan. Okay, let's start with Eric Boahin, who says, tell them to never ask for it again. Kobe Ejenim Boatin says, let's go to the station means a lot. Daniel Dugan, he says, we know what we have gone through. And Ikuya says, why can't the police stand on their grounds and refuse the bribe? Level 7 says, what they demand, pa. And Edward said, in fact, they're very corrupt, except my friend Felix. Genetics, Reginald says, in their capacity as what? Paul Benjamin says, the police, was on a motorbike and we all crossed the yellow light before it turned red. He was just by my side and claimed I have jumped the red light and that we should go to the station. Lo and behold, he needed me to pay something or else. I opened my wallet and it was 20 Ghana inside. He asked me to check my Momo wallet in front of him. Can you imagine? And Kobe says they beg for it. Abba Alex says that's true. And Mami Fia Jemfo says, how can you tell me this? So these are reactions to the statement that was released by the Ghana Police Service saying that there's been bias in the Afrobarometer report that tagged the police as the most corrupt institution in Ghana. Now, the national executives of the Konkomba Youth Association are demanding justice after armed men attacked and destroyed a Konkomba village in a renewed land dispute in the Tripoli district of the Northeast region. The armed men alleged to be members of the rival Anofo ethnic group were said to have raided the Konkoma community of Sargon on Monday morning, chasing out women and children at gunpoint before setting the entire community on fire and making away with their livestock and other property. Speaking at a press conference in Saboba, the National Secretary of the Association, Nagbija Elvis Polia, demanded the immediate arrest of the perpetrators. Eliasu Tanko has more.
On Monday at about 9 a.m., a group of armed men violently carried out a raid on Sangong, a Konkomba community in the Chirponi district of the Northeast region. The armed men, who were said to have come from a neighboring community called Balu, waited till the community men had left for their farm fields before launching the surprise attack. At gunpoint, the armed men reportedly chased out the few women and children who had been left behind before setting the whole village on fire and cutting away dozens of livestock and other properties belonging to the Konkomba victims. Security personnel were quickly deployed after they were alerted, but the perpetrators had disappeared before they could arrive in the community, and no arrests have been made yet more than 2 days after the attack. The national executives of the Konkomba Youth Association, after a visit to the community, are accusing the rival Anofos from the community of Balu of being responsible for the attack. Here is National Secretary Nabija Elvis speaking at a press conference in the Konkomba traditional capital town of Saboba.
So the women ran home to inform those who were in the house. There was just like with kids and some aged people who were in the house. So the young ones who were in the house ran to go check whether what the women had come to say was true. When they got there, they were met with attacks. So they ran back to Sargon. They could not even stop in Sargon. They had to run into the bushes. Once they went and left Sargon, then they started burning the houses, cutting, spoiling the zincs, killing the animals, especially the pigs, catching the cattle, the goat, the sheep. The only animals that survived in Sargon were dogs which ran away. When we went to Sargon yesterday, it was only dogs that were alive. There was even an instance where a man who says that a Dagomba woman gave him money to buy shea nuts. A full room shea nuts bent. How is he supposed to account? Why? Where is he going to get them? So before the men came back, 17 of the houses were gone.
The National Secretary also expressed their displeasure with the way and manner members of the Konkomba ethnic group are often treated by the Chirponi district authorities anytime there's renewed violence related to land or chieftaincy. He has therefore called for the immediate arrest of the perpetrators of the Sangon violence, warning strongly to take measures to protect themselves if authorities fail to do so.
We believe that the attack on Sargon is born out of hatred and extremism, and below are justifications to that effect. One, identity. It is our belief that the attack on the people of Sargon is an intentional and a calculated machination to attack our identity as a people. Yes. This we believe because the activities of the Anufo raiders in Sagong, the raiders during their raid broke and destroyed graves of our dead and buried kinsmen. The Konkomba people are very traditional people who believe that our ancestors are intermediary between our maker and us. And there are those who intercede on our behalf to our maker. For this callous Anufos of Balu to perpetrate this sacrilege, we will not forgive them. We will not forgive them for disconnecting us from our ancestors.
Joy News Desk will take a break. When we return, there is more on News Desk. Do stay tuned in. Welcome back to Joy News Desk. To the rest of our stories, fresh details are emerging over a fracas between a Domkwabena District Police Commander and a corporal of the formed police units in the Ashanti region. Eyewitness accounts say Superintendent Albert Kwanzaa allegedly attempted to snatch a service rifle from Corporal Boache moments after the former was labeled a criminal in the presence of motorists. Though JoyNews cannot independently verify this claim, it has been corroborated by multiple sources. The tussle over the weapon created a tense atmosphere at the Chuma lorry station for several minutes. Interior of our security desk now reports.
I said, get on board. Don't worry. Give me your number.
My number, this is my name. I'm from FU.
Your service number.
Meet you at FU.
Last Wednesday's conduct of both Superintendent Kwanzaa and Corporal Boache is under police investigation. A video has since gone viral of Corporal Boache appearing to be disrespecting the district commander. Mr. Kwanzaa, in his private car, is said to have first asked FPU team, including Corporal Boache, assigned to the area, to move from an accident-prone spot to the Yabi Afrancho Fuase road. He later returned in a command's operational vehicle, accompanied by 2 other policemen, to meet the team at the lorry station and further demanded details of Corporal Boache. But an eyewitness who pleaded anonymity told JoyNews the tussle over the weapon by the police officers attracted a large scene, creating a tense atmosphere.
No, me three. Nti police penin ko try so beji tuo no. Fuma me mfa ma sa na tie. Anu nti e ma e pulu crowd angasa. Na nipa no dɔɔso. Nti mi kura na emi hu say no, the way a osi ayiri tuo no tuo fuma me mfa ma na twema me ntwe no. Na ze kyina ko na se okotutu isi a. Ye na e wo yina no ye with my victim.
Some residents, including motorists, have condemned the conduct of Corporal Boache. They accuse him and the FPU team of extortion.
The FPU guy seems to show much of pomposity. The commander was right. We have seen incidents of cars crashing on others because of where they have placed their barrier on the hill of one of the caves where it's not safe for vehicular movement and others.
To be frankly speech, very, very risky. On the a snake road. Ultimately 6G, a full people be. Ofria no abegina no man so. Amuji escape 5 series. O man 2 series kura. O say the central people, when they come now, they come collect the 5 seed na evening time they leave. You go here say,
Meanwhile, the Domkwabena District Security Council scheduled an emergency meeting over the matter.
I only saw the video yesterday night. I've contacted other members of DISEC and they feel the same way, that we should have an emergency meeting to look at the incident. So we arranged to hold a meeting earlier this morning, but other equally important as engagement as they have occupied the attention of members, most of the members, so they couldn't make it today. Hopefully, by Friday, by the close of this week, the meeting will come off.
Prince Kakari, chairman of DISEC, who is also the district chief executive, also says the assembly is concerned with the issue.
You have a whole district police commander who has been grossly disrespected in this manner. How does that affect his confidence? Secondly, those men are not from this district. It was from a collaboration between the DISEC and the regional police command. That road used to be a robbery-prone area. There was no month you wouldn't record an incident of robbery on that stretch of road. So their coming here was very, very timely. For over 6 months now, we haven't recorded any incident of robbery, what have you, on that particular stretch of road. So with this fracas, with this disagreement, we don't know whether they are still going to be here or not. So as a DISEC, we need to arrange a meeting with the regional police command to iron out any differences.
For now, the public will keenly monitor the outcome of the police investigations into the conduct of the senior police officer and the corporal. For him, Interior, reporting for JoyNews.
If I see anybody outside any other place, apart from that place, because anybody entering, you have to enter.
Back here in Accra, the majority on the Privileges Committee won the seat of Domkwabena MP Sarah Adjoa-Safo to be declared vacant. Per copies of the Privileges Committee report that has been laid and cited by JoyNews, the majority say, given that she failed to take the opportunity afforded her to render an explanation for her absence, her seat should be declared vacant. What is the reaction of residents to this decision to declare the seat vacant? Our reporter, Michael Papania-Shali, joins us live. Michael, you are in the Domkwabena constituency. How are the constituents taking this? Michael, if you can hear me, share with me what the constituents have been telling you about this whole report from Parliament.
This is supposed to be the last day in Parliament, at least for this particular session here. We are here to ask the constituents themselves, what do they think about the latest recommendation from the Privileges Committee to declare the seat of Adjoa-Safo vacant here. We'll speak to people from all walks of life on what exactly they make of that recommendation. Let me start with some of these taxi drivers who will share with me their opinion on the subject matter. Bossman, good morning. So on Adjoa-Safo specifically, Parliament says that we should, they recommend, and the Privileges Committee says, well, she should, her seat should be declared vacant. But you as a constituent who she's representing, what do you think about it?
And some no can may a gun any government and my organ canyon and I'm going to make a tree or agree so make a brofuka cranty, a country.
Oh, well, I don't dear, to be frank. Yet to Obama and say, one concord pre and punto Maya or Hassi. By Okoyano, you who she. It's me mum dear, me margin dear. Next time you know, or Saki to refuse not other person ever. Because in here I draw her beam. Because dear castle won't conquer one quiet into your dear, you know.
But to say, I'll give you the English translation, but he's been telling us that, well, the reason for which they took her to Parliament, in his understanding, she doesn't seem to be fulfilling that particular mandate here. But she's also been giving some reasons when she spoke to JoyNews that she's had to travel to go and cater for her children. Else, the state is going to take it from her. So, okay, say, but want to be on consular, I say, about time, one qua, a bedroom man, and Tosumana.
Oh, well. By one thing say, Parliament or and penny for or champagne or champagne fussy. Into one say, more friend or Shanima, or more friend or sweet me back. Now, 1 or 2 on idea, I saw no more discuss, Naku, Yana or Sako. By Nina one for Buanya, Ama and penny for more Parliament and Nuntina, maybe me free say, you two fruits why a mammy.
So well, he says that, well, she's given reasons, but it's not enough not to also show up in Parliament to give this same explanation to the Privileges Committee. Thinks that the decision by the Privileges Committee is fine for him. Let me ask, Bossman, now also address when he say ne nyonko for our Parliament Privileges Committee here into the infeso. Now we drink say or representative or honom no then I will drink.
Okay, no crumbo na wo kan de metiase. Na onto the infeso no. Yan hu the reason why I was so to address of why the infeso. A man in black out. No me can and say na address of why the aye. Nti mo amoto abaman o deserve say you ntuni mfiso ana ba mo nka bibia nkyerɛ yɛn parliament we yɛn ni hɔ yɛ dudu nia so na wotie news ana bibisa nti sɛ mo ba
be me ha kakra na nsuo no ya to ne free nsuo ni mu kakra nti ɔma church mu kakra ɔmo say wotu kwan ɔmba parliament baby a wo say onko representative no onko hɔ wotu kwan ɔma san friend so ɔmra back no wama meti eno so nso amana kwenya so be cheche mu nso ameye
enti aban ta adwasa for otu kwan no se aban ya we se otu kwan na aban ko na so wa fla adwasa for se sisi ade no enkra na okra ne ohia no e wo parliament e number okay sasa na ti na se bibia enim ne dia ene de na o deserve se wo se ye de ye yi ni fi because me ha me won mpuntundwuma menya ene ade nti na meto abaye de edeman onso ogina ha ma ye nia because me ntumi mfa me bag enko presidency enka kamasem but ono a ogina ha mo no ono na motuma de akamasem afa ne so me kodu presidency ho mo enti se aban nim se bibia nim na waye bibia se adwasafo ababa na se stin also ambade dia ene de na nia omo kan me so ye de megitum ba se bibi wo me de dia ene so ma ban no ye so ye de ye hu because last time it say omo interview no anani audio bi bae ina o ka se president na ya we nia o ye no president na ya we up to now Argentina president no so embambe kan chen said no madwe kan enye no kre me ya we ba zizi akwaye off and on ina yen a ye wa ha no mo kekan yan tie de edi bomti ma ban me ye hu se ade poti a ogina so a o pese ye de yetu adwasafo an.
So he's been telling me that, well, he's heard some of the reasons that Parliament is giving, and he thinks that, well, a salient, and these are the reasons they are standing on, then he agrees to that. Let me finally ask him that if Adwasafo should be removed pursuant to the recommendation, will him, as a constituent, vote for her?
Oh, me say Obabium say Obejina as a
Obejina wa name say Parliament bioma.
Parliament bioma. I know there beya din kakra ama me because ni amede man no kra no wendi hu no kre mama no one wendi hu no kre na me man mienu a na obotume di hu no kra de ama me. Enti no there oba say oboto ababi odi a and there beya din ama me say motum evotu edi ama ne bio because ni oye no ono a onka bibia nkyere yen ono so even though campaign time kra na sense ye won wa ha enso enya gidie ewoni mu eto abaye de man no na se obejao yen saade a ha adwen kakra enti no de
bedasepa. So what he says that should she come back, he's not going to be voting for her. At least that is clear. So this is the Domkwabena constituency. We've been interacting with some of the constituents on what they make of the latest recommendation from Parliament, the Privileges Committee, to declare her seat vacant because they've exhausted all other means to reach out to her. In the recommendation, they mentioned the word failed to take advantage of all the other avenues that was given to her. Some more people, but this is us here in Domkwabena.
Michael Papania Shale, they're gauging the mood of constituents of the Domkwabena constituency who are having mixed feelings about Parliament's Privileges Committee asking Adwasafo to vacate her seat. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletins, plus what it means to the NPP in Parliament. Now, did you know that your car tires have expiry dates? They're expected to be used for only 6 years. Well, road safety expert Cecil Gabra has been explaining what to look out for when changing your tires to ensure safety on the road.
How would you know, right? There is this indication where everybody must know, okay? If you look at this tie, it has this information FGA 069. Forget about the FGA, but pick the last 3 or 4 digits at the end of the tie, and that gives you the manufacturer's date. For instance, this is 069. This tie was manufactured on the 6th week of the year 1999. This is 3 digits. Remember the millennium issue, we had 3 digits and we went to 4.
Right.
So 4 digits will tell you that the tie was manufactured in 2000 and above. But if you look at this tie, it says 069, and I take that again. 6th week, that's the first 2 gives you the week, and then the last 2 is supposed to give you the year
So this
of
would be
manufacture.
the 2nd week in February
1999. And remember that you have to use a tie for a maximum period of 6 years,
Right.
whether it is new or old. But this is what will happen. You start having cracks on the tie, okay, on the side walls of the tie. And that should tell you that any moment you are going to meet death.
We're still live on JoyNews Desk. We'll return with more after this break. Do stay tuned in.
Hello, good morning. It's time to do business with me, Beverly Broom. Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kofi Asante, is calling on small and medium enterprises to pay attention to the emerging green economy. According to her, the global economy is moving towards smart technology, and another sure way of surviving is through investment in green initiatives. She spoke to journalists after launching the Green SME Networking Festival in Accra.
The 3-day festival is part of the Invest for Jobs program by the Ghana Enterprises Agency and German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. It is to support small and medium-scale enterprises in Ghana. Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kofi Asante, said it's about time entrepreneurs took advantage of the growing green economy to make their businesses sustainable.
A festival on job creation. Now, the reason why I say that this green economy can actually translate into job creation is because this is a new and innovative sector and economy that we've never really focused on. That has the potential to actually bring about a lot more innovation for the youth to start new businesses in alignment with their passion, in alignment with technology, in alignment with what this generation, new youth generation, has grown up seeing and knowing and being very conversant about. So once we are able to bring this to the fore and also encourage them to create opportunities, this will automatically translate into job creation in a new economy that in the past we hadn't paid attention to. So that is why we believe that this is an economy for the green economy and green MSMEs. It's an economy that we need to pay attention to. It's an economy that we need to support, and it's an economy that we need to build the youth to have a greater understanding to do more for.
Team lead in charge of Invest for Jobs, John Duty, explains how small businesses can adopt sustainable initiatives in their operations.
Green has to do with resource efficiency, the efficient use of resource. How do I use water efficiently? How do I use power efficiently? Even disposal of waste. How do I even reuse some of my waste? These are all factors that SMEs can also consider, that in their own small way they can contribute to the green agenda. Besides, the whole world is greening. Very soon people will be requested to put stamps on their products to show that they produce this in a very green environment. So the earlier we adapt this thinking of green, the better for us. So it's very relevant, and SMEs can play a critical role in their own small way.
About 100 small enterprises are participating in the event to explore green business concepts.
The Design and Technical Institute, DTI, is calling on all technical and vocational educational institutions across the country to work together to ensure sustainability within the space. According to workshop manager at the DTI, Isaac Tete, institutions should be committed to engaging youth more often to create more opportunities. He spoke to Joy Business at the commissioning of the ultra-modern workshop with state-of-the-art equipment in Accra.
The Design and Technology Institute commissioned its ultra-modern workshop and state-of-the-art equipment to aid teaching, learning, and the production of prototype products. Some learners were rewarded with a total seed capital of $25,000 to support their business ideas under its pre-accelerator program as part of the Community Innovative Project. The competition is a business pitch and accelerator initiative designed to identify, recognize, and support promising student-led enterprises with the potential to scale and create sustainable jobs for the teeming unemployed youth. Isaac Tete, speaking to Joy Business, called for more attention to the sector.
Technical and vocational education is expensive, especially for welding and fabrication. The resources to put this thing together is very, very, very expensive, especially consumables, materials, plates and pipes that you need to buy for the students. And sometimes it's annoying because the training process, you don't really see something tangible that they are building stuff. We are just cutting pieces of metals for them to weld. You don't see the productivity in that. But at the end of the day, that is what gives them the skill that is required for industry. So if you ask me that question, then it will be commitment from technical and vocational schools, commitment of management to provide all the necessary training materials for the learners to be able to get the skills that are required for industry.
According to one of the judges, Kobina Hodgson, the winners will graduate and advance with their prototypes into a 6-month pre-acceleration program. The pre-acceleration program will serve as a platform for the winners to gain extensive business management, financial and operational resources, and will be the catalyst for fundraising activities and investment opportunities at DTI.
This is not the first time we are doing this. Last year we were part of the initial group, and I can say that the improvement we've seen this year is beyond measure. The participants, the innovators were pitching from their bellies, literally. You could tell they understood what they were saying. They were answering questions, speaking directly to their businesses, and we can only wish the best for them. Thankfully, we were not just judges or ideation members. We were part of coaching them this time around. Therefore, you could see that there was some amount of intentional handling to get these guys to understand what they want to do and the results they are to expect therein.
The overall winner, Mastercraft, developed a multi-purpose wheelchair for the aged and the physically challenged. According to the leader of the group, Matthew Theater, this will expand their knowledge and prepare them for other projects.
And one thing we cannot deny is that the journey, though it's been challenging, but it's been amazing and then impacting as well, because we've built inner tenacity, we've built our endurance. In fact, living here, I cannot deny that there has been tremendous transformation throughout the entire process.
The 5 finalists were selected out of a short list of 15 teams that went through a 6-month training in problem identification, research, and prototype development, which commenced on 15th December 2021.
And that's your business. Now we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is sports.
Time now for sports. Mubarak Harina is here with the very latest. It's all about the Commonwealth Games.
Yes, it kickstarts tonight, the opening ceremony actually, 7 p.m. UK time, but in Ghana it's 6 p.m. So it's a very, very important competition for us. We are part of it. We are part of the Commonwealth countries, and we will be participating in about 13 disciplines. Talk about swimming, boxing, judo, so many sporting disciplines that Ghana we will be partaking in. And the last time we went there was in 2018 and we won bronze. So hopefully we can improve on our performance in this tournament.
We are going for gold.
That's very, very difficult to tell because it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all.
Well, let's see how it goes.
So many good countries will be partaking, and so we need to up our games.
Which countries are participating?
Well, England, they are part of the host. You know, the competition is in Birmingham. We have the likes of Australia, the likes of Italy, so many powerhouses in terms of athletics are in this competition. So we really have to give off our best. If not,
and just like you're saying, I mean, all these names you're mentioning, they hold world records.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of competition are we facing? I mean, the Ghana team.
Well, like I said, we're participating in 13 disciplines. We've sent 101 athletes. So, but when you look at the quality of our athletes as compared to them, it will be very, very difficult because most of their players or most of their athletes from the World Athletics Championship, most of them will be partaking in this tournament as well. And when you look at our performance at the World Athletics Championship, we've not even won a medal at that particular tournament since the 70s. It's very difficult. For a gold medal, it's 2006. So it is not easy for Ghana. I want to be optimistic. So hopefully...
We're all optimistic and we're going for gold. Thank you, Haruna, for bringing us sports. And that'll be it for sports. That'll be it also for this bulletin this morning. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 12.